Today we have the 2020 Land Rover Range Rover Evoque First Edition. That is probably the longest name of vehicle I've ever said, but this is a really cool, high-tech, luxurious, and capable compact vehicle. There's a lot to show you on this vehicle. I'm going to show you all the features, and we're going to go for a test drive. Let's get started. Now, starting on the exterior for this 2020 Range Rover Evoque, it is modern but a bold design, very similar to the last generation, but some changes here as well. So starting up front, we have the signature LED daytime running lights, even slimmer premium LED headlights that are adaptive up and down, so auto leveling, but they do not move side to side. It would be nice to see that in this class. LED fog lights below, and at night, these have good performance. They're not great, but the driver's side does seem to aim low, but overall, the lights are very bright. We have the optional 21-inch 5-spoke with the split-spoke design wheels. It's a glossy silver finish. Those are massive wheels. They really fill out the large wheel arches and the big shoulders on this vehicle. That's paired with this Nolita Gray, which is a very interesting color. Leave your comments down below on what you think of it. I think it looks pretty good on this vehicle. It's nice with the black windows and some of the black trim as well. We also have power folding mirrors, and both sides are auto dimming. Both sides can reverse tilt, and they both have approach lighting in them as well that shines down on the ground and is pretty neat. Looks pretty cool and it's really welcoming. Then we have a rising belt line coming out the back, like I said, with those large wheel arches and shoulder. This Evoque is only 172 inches long, so it's quite a bit smaller than its siblings, but it does have almost 8.5 inches of ground clearance, and it can wade 23.6 inches of water, which is really impressive. It still has a coupe-like silhouette in the back, matching LED style taillights similar to the front, even LED rear fog lights for a little bit improved visibility from behind for other drivers, and the exhaust is covered. And overall, leave your comments below on what you think of this design. Now, I would expect a lot of you that buy the Range Rover Evoque to be rather adventurous people, and you're probably going to be putting stuff back here on the go. Well, Land Rover has this thing that's pretty cool. It's called an activity key. It's waterproof, it's pretty robust, you can wear it, and you can lock away your regular key on the inside of the vehicle and just touch your activity key to the first R on Rover, and it'll open it up for you. So, on the go, waterproof key, pretty cool. Now, this is a power tailgate. Moves pretty quickly as well. And then back here, one of my favorite things about being back here is that we get a 40-20-40 split, which isn't something that you always see, but it makes things more practical, and that is standard. We have 21.5 cubic feet behind the second row and 50 cubic feet when the seats are folded down. And Land Rover even has a guide that shows just how much feet you have and what you can fit with 5 seats, 4 seats, 3 seats, and 2 seats as well. So it's kind of a cool chart. There's also a 12-volt power outlet back here, a cargo cover, a few different hooks for groceries or tying something down. Overall, it's not huge, but it's a great size space for this size of a vehicle. Plus, there's a spare tire mounted right underneath of here. The Range Rover Evoque Smart Key System, this is a nice key fob. It's a pretty robust key fob. You've got your logo on it. It just feels nice. It looks pretty nice as well. And as you can see, the vehicle is locked. These mirrors are folded, and this doesn't actually have door handles. No, I'm just kidding. It's kind of like some of the trendy things here. We have door handles right here. Just push that button, and then you can open it up. And when you lock it, push it again, and the door handles go flush. Personally, I would rather not see this because I would probably be a little paranoid and freak out if this doesn't pop out sometime. Not only that, on the key fob, you can turn the lights on, which some vehicles, when you lock it or unlock it, you can customize to have the lights come on or off, but you can just turn the lights on or off with your key fob. Now, once you hop into the front seats of this Range Rover Evoque, this is where things get pretty special. Standard, we have these 14-way duotone cloud/ebony grained leather seats. They are perforated as well. They're heated. They feel nice. They've got good bolstering around them. My only little complaint is that the headrest does feel a little bit far forward, and you can only adjust it up and down instead of front to back. Overall though, I've been comfortable, and I really appreciate how you can move this armrest forward for a little more comfortable, relaxed elbow driving. They also have 3 position memory settings on them, and 16-way power seats are optional. Another feature up front which is nice is this power steering wheel, and the control is right here. It's got pretty good range of motion for tilt and telescoping. It is also heated, and it has this nice bezel that runs on the inside, so you have some nice trim without it overtaking the steering wheel. And these controls on the steering wheel are also pretty cool. They change depending on what you're using, especially on the left for your information display, and you don't even have to push a button. You can actually swipe to turn the music up or down. The interior of this Evoque is very high tech, and it's a really sophisticated feeling cabin. There's nice surfaces all around you, and in fact there's 4 different screens in this vehicle. Before we get to those, we have a customizable head-up display that is pretty good size. It can show your lanes, your speed limit, your gear, your speed, even off-road controls if you want it to. There's a 12.3-inch driver information display right in front of us, which has a ton of information on it as well. Of course, you've got a trip computer, navigation, phone, media, but it is adjustable, customizable, and there's even some different viewing modes to suit your needs. It's really pretty awesome though. Now, our other screens, we have the Touch Pro Duo, which gives us an upper and a lower screen. The top screen is 10 inches, and it's also tiltable, so you can move it towards you or away from you, or even just shut it off if you want. Most of the main controls can be found on there, and it is highly customizable as well. It's responsive, it works well, and it's clear to see with no glaring issues. Below, we have the second screen, which is also nice and large, and there's more unique features on here. So you can have control of the top screen and the bottom screen at the same time, while each of them shows something different. So for example, you can have navigation on the top while you control your climate or your radio down below. You can also control your driving modes below, from dynamic to multiple off-road modes. And we have a 14-speaker Meridian sound system with a subwoofer, which does sound pretty nice. Even optional is clear sight ground view with the 360 camera package, which we don't have, but we have the 360 parking aid and park assist, plus tow hitch assist and advanced tow assist helps you back up. Underneath of those screens, you have a nice large storage bin to hide some stuff. It is kind of concealed as well. Plus we have decent sized cup holders, one big, one small, a split folding armrest with charging ports inside, which is actually fairly convenient to share with your passenger. And then there's a fixed panoramic roof up above. It actually doesn't open, but it is a large roof nonetheless. And then we even have configurable ambient lighting in this interior with a bunch of different colors that really makes it stand out and look really neat at night. And then the mirror up above is the clear sight mirror. It's like a rear mirror camera, and there's a couple mainstream vehicles that do this as well, but you can have a clear picture behind you. So if you load up the cargo area and you can't really see out the back, and the visibility in here kind of stinks anyways, you got a clear sight with the camera back there to see behind you. So how's the back seat in this little Range Rover Evoque? Well, it's actually more spacious than I thought. I've got pretty good knee space. I've got good foot space. There's really nice cutouts in the back of these front seats. Headroom is also actually not that bad considering the kind of back roof line, kind of fast sloping back there, but it's really not bad at all for me. The one tricky thing though is it does feel a little claustrophobic back here, but it's kind of cool feeling because there's some ambient lighting back here. It's a little tricky getting in and out for some people if you have mobility issues. We have AC vents right in front of us, but a 12-volt power outlet, no actual USB ports back here. And optional is the click and go little tablet holder on the back of the screen for your own little entertainment system. We don't have it though. The middle seat gives us a folding armrest with cup holders, and you just got a really nice view of this big panoramic glass. There is a hump in the middle, but if I sit in the middle and someone with smaller feet maybe could sit here okay and still not have my head touch. Now, under the hood of this 2020 Range Rover Evoque, there's 2 different engine options. Both of them are 2-liter turbocharged engines, but one of them has a mild hybrid system as well. The mild hybrid comes on the R Dynamic, which is the sportier version with 296 horsepower, 295 pound-feet of torque. Not bad for a little vehicle like this, but ours is just the regular gas, turbocharged, 2-liter 4-cylinder engine that's going to put out 246 horsepower, 269 pound-feet of torque, but that torque comes out really early. 0 to 60 is 7 seconds. Both of them are paired with a 9-speed automatic transmission, and we'll talk about that in the test drive. Miles per gallon is 20 city, 27 highway, 23 combined. And if you're interested, towing is a little over 3,300 pounds on this model. as long as you have a trailer with brakes. They all come with an all-wheel drive system that will control the torque between the front and the rear axle, and it's capable of putting 100% of the torque to one of those axles. All right, everyone, thank you so much for sticking around and tuning in for this test drive of the Evoque. Now we're gonna put it in dynamic mode in a little bit and have a little bit of fun with it. And I'm just gonna tell you how it drives. So my first impression right off the bat is that it's actually kind of a stiff, bumpy ride. And I think the biggest factor of that is the fact that we have these 21-inch wheels. So I would absolutely not go with the 21-inch wheels unless you really prefer style over comfort. These wheels look great though, they're really massive, and the fact that you have those big wheels is there's just no rubber on your tires. There's like no absorption, even though we have the adaptive dampers on this vehicle. So I'm sure it does pretty good comparatively with other vehicles with 21-inch wheels, but it's just not ideal. Now we are in just normal mode right now, comfort mode technically. And that 9-speed automatic does some pretty smooth shifting. It is a fairly quick shifting vehicle as well. My only complaint though is sometimes at lower speeds, like let's say I'm slowing down for a light or something and then it turns green and I just start to accelerate again, it kind of clunks a little bit, like it just doesn't know what to do. And there's some other transmissions that have acted like that before, so it's nothing new. Now one thing that I really appreciate is the weight of the steering. So there's a couple things about the steering. I have a love-hate relationship with it. It's got good weight to it, it feels nice, but man, I tell you what, I feel like I have to make little micro corrections way more than I feel like I should, because I just don't think there's any feedback with it. But it's really not that bad, it's just I just have to make a couple more little adjustments periodically than I feel like I should. Otherwise, I mean, it feels good to drive, it handles pretty well. There is some body lean in this vehicle, and we do set up kind of high actually for the way that it actually looks. And it's not meant to corner or anything like that. Carved mountains, it's meant to be, you know, somewhat off-road capable. And we're gonna take a little bit of a sharper turn in a second. Now, just kind of at a rolling go right now. Gonna get on it. And it took a sec for it to want to kick down and go, and there is some lag in this vehicle a little bit, really not bad. And this is actually peppier than you would expect considering the power numbers. 0 to 60, 7 seconds, which is definitely respectable. For the most part, if you're not hitting bumps, it's a very smooth vehicle. It feels smooth. I'm sure that this suspension is doing a nice job. It's just that when I hit something that's even a moderate sized bump or crack, man, you really feel it. The brakes on here are good. They're very responsive, very jumpy, so I really like that. Now I'm gonna put it in dynamic mode, and I don't like having to go to the screen to do that. I'll talk about the screens in a little bit and what it's like to actually live with those. Now we're in dynamic right now, and let's just get on it a little. You can tell that that was definitely more responsive, and you can see it's red. It's holding the RPMs up right now. If I get on the brakes a little bit, those are good, pretty responsive. I don't know actual braking numbers. Let's kind of boogie around this corner a little bit, even though it's a little wet. And I don't feel comfortable really pushing this around a corner because it's there is some lean to it. It feels very planted. I will say that. It feels substantial. It feels like it's planted onto the road. It's just not something you want to really boogie and corner with. Now, I'm going to put it in the S mode, manual mode here. S4. 5. 6. Those paddles responded fairly quickly. It's in 6th, 5th, 4th. Not too bad. You can have a little bit of fun with it, but that's really not what this is about. This is a lifestyle vehicle. I mean, you're supposed to appreciate the luxury and the uniqueness of this vehicle, because not everybody has a Range Rover Evoque. Now, living with the screens. The screen up above I feel could be a little bit simpler than what it is. This knob over here, this button on the steering wheel, is part screen and part music as well. So you have to toggle between the two, which can be a little bit annoying, and it takes a little bit of navigating to get through some of that stuff, but otherwise I like the information that's displayed. Now this is a really cool setup right there, and I do have my eyes on the road. I just kind of have my head turned a little bit, just in case you're wondering, but I just would prefer a couple more real buttons instead of having to kind of navigate through some things. But it is kind of neat how it's integrated and how they make it work, and how you can have something on one screen, something on another screen as well. So it's really interesting, it's unique, it's pretty fun. It's kind of a little party trick when you start moving your screen, and people think it's pretty cool. Now under here you can take this out and you have cup holders. You have one small, one larger, and there's a spot where you can put this in the glove box. Now one thing I got to tell you guys is that I did not get my decibel ratings. I apologize for that. But one complaint though is that there is some noticeable wind noise, and I checked, these are not laminated windows, and for a vehicle of this price point, especially up in trims, I would expect those to be laminated or at least have a reduction in wind noise. There is some road noise that gets in here. I don't know what the decibel rating is. It's not bad, but I'm sure you can hear that right now. It's certainly livable. I think they do a nice job of insulating this. I haven't had any rattles, which is great, but one complaint is when I go over uneven ground or like up my driveway, the whole roof kind of creaks a little bit, like it's getting torqued a little bit and twisted, and I feel like that has 100% to do with the panoramic roof, because I've had another vehicle or two do that around the roof. Now as far as the price point goes in daily driving this, one feature that I wish we would have had that, you know, for this price is the actual 360 camera, but we have the 360 park assist to where it can actually help you park, but it doesn't show you around the vehicle. And this is a really easy vehicle to park because of its size, but visibility just is not very good. It's not very good at all. I mean, it's really crouched down, especially when you're looking out the back. So I don't have anywhere I can actually go off-roading, but I'm just got a little gravel road right here close to my house, and I have it in automatic mode, and I just want to see how it feels being on gravel. Ooh, it's pretty playful. You can definitely feel all those wheels pulling, and you can get 100% torque to one wheel or the other, or to one axle or the other. And just a little puddle right there. And even out on this gravel, it's fairly quiet. There's no rattles. It really isolates this gravel really well. I'm definitely impressed with that. If you are seriously going to be doing one of these off-road, get some better tires and the other wheels, the smaller wheels. You'll be better off that way. And even though those were small puddles right there, it wasn't a very big puddle. You know, there was no real traction issue there. And I just have it in automatic, so I don't know how it was responding. But if you do venture off the beaten path, I think you'll be just fine in this vehicle. I have enjoyed driving this. It's an experience to drive this Range Rover Evoque. It's luxurious, it's comfortable, it's easy to drive, and it's a capable vehicle if you ever want to take it off. So now that we're all done with this Range Rover Evoque first edition, my thoughts are that it makes you feel very premium. It's high end, it's got some stuff that I just didn't expect, some really cool features. It feels that way. It's very capable with its off-road settings, but still luxurious at the same time in a really compact package. So what do you think of it? Leave your comments down below. Thank you so much for watching, and subscribe for more videos like this. We'll catch you later.